What it do, beautiful people? Welcome to another edition of Quick Dip. I go by Big Driip Bars. This week we're going to talk more Spider-Man because the news just keeps flooding in, people. I mean, it just won't stop. So we're going to talk the MCU Spider-Man 3 once again. Christopher Nolan cussing out Warner Brothers. They're receiving a lot of backlash over this whole HBOmax thing. We got a couple other topics on the plate for you. Jack, Drizzle, thank you for being a part of my life.
Of course.
Thank you.
Wouldn't have it any other way. We're a day early and $1 short. And there's a reason for it. So tomorrow we're going to be heading over to Rage Entertainment again to talk to Steve Head, who helped in creating movies like TMNT 2. What is it? Return of the Ooze?
Yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm excited for that.
The Secret Ooze.
Yeah. Oh, the Secret of the Ooze. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. There it is.
Yeah. So that should be fun. Join us there. Well, join us whenever they put that stuff up because I don't think they're as quick as I am with editing and stuff. But
oh, jeez Louise.
I don't even think our first video with them's up.
It's no really.
I swear to God.
Really?
I mean, and put that in retrospect. I'm pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay.
I can get that stuff done in less than a day.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
he did mention that he like all that banter beforehand. Like he was recording everything. You know, he is
That's
working
amazing.
with like 2.5 hours worth of content. He has a feature-length film starting us. You know.
So I just want to start this off today with a couple different things. So for the next couple months, this is near and dear to my heart. For the next couple months, we're going to be raising money for my mother, who was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. She could use our help with, medical bills, prescription costs, chemotherapy. She should be focusing on getting stronger rather than focusing on the bills rolling in. So if you can donate $1, $2, $5, anything that helps, I know she'll appreciate it. I appreciate it. Drip and Jack appreciate it. Because, one of our mothers is all of our mothers. So
that's right. That's right. That's right.
So thank you guys in advance for your donations. And again, I really, really, really appreciate it. Just a quick lineup of what's going to be going on in the next couple of weeks. So this Friday, the Pop Culture Corner is heading over to the vodka stream with Dave the Film Junkie. That should be really fun. We had such a great time with Dave the first time around that he invited us back to his crevice of YouTube. So that's going to be really fun.
Crevice.
His little slither of YouTube.
It sounds dirty. I know it isn't, but it sounds dirty.
It does. It does. And then Monday on a special edition of TY's TV Corner, Kim Rhodes from Supernatural. Woo! She'll be joining me on December 14th.
Making big moves, Drizzle.
Look at her, right? Look at her there. Look at her there, standing next to Dean Winchester.
Power.
My lady.
What a nerd.
It's the first woman guest, by the way.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, first woman guest.
For you?
Besides you, Jack.
Yeah.
Very Queens.
Hey, I do my hair. I do everything.
Oh, Jesus. Jesus.
You might have to edit that one. You might have to edit that one out, Drizzle.
Nope. That's the thing about being live.
Are we live? Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no!
All right.
Oh crap!
Strike
I gotta
that.
put my pants on.
Strike that from the record. It's been I have a lot going on, so please excuse me. All right.
Yeah.
I believe they even made a mistake on the show that time, so sorry.
Yeah.
But yes, okay. So first female actor on the show.
There you go. Oh yeah.
And then next
And done.
Friday, the Pop Culture Corner will be joined by Lightcast Podcast host Matt and the Cultured Nerds Taylor.
Oh yeah.
Gonna get a lot of insight. You guys know from the first time that Matt joined us that was one of our better shows. So stay tuned for this Friday. It's going to be even better. So I guess we'll jump into our first topic of the day. Man, what is that going to be? Let's play revolving door of topics. Okay, here it is. So Chris Nolan, Legendary Studios, and others are furious about Warner Brothers HBOmax releases. Chris Nolan, I think Jack has a quote for you. But Chris Nolan went on record with some strong words against HBO and Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers apparently did not consult any other studio, any other filmmaker, director, actor about their decision to release the films on HBO Max. Guys, what do you think about it?
The part of the quote that I thought was striking, and I'll read the quote that we posted on Facebook. Some of our industry's biggest filmmakers and most important movie stars went to bed the night before thinking they were working for the greatest movie studio and woke up to find out they're working for the worst streaming service. I was shocked to be saying worst streaming service. Because that felt like he's a very well-educated man. Like that felt like an intentional shot at HBO.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
Instead of saying, hey, now they're working for a streaming service, the worst streaming service. Like he's not a controversial guy. He's not like a guy who says stuff like that. So you could tell that he's probably really mad, and he knows he can get away with it because he's arguably the most consistent filmmaker Warner Brothers has had, going all the way back to Batman movies. Yeah,
I don't think he's wrong. First of all, first and foremost, I 100% understand the frustration and anger. We are not, he's 100% correct. We're not talking about, straight to DVD movies, right? That's a pretty old school sentence. But
yes, it was.
we're talking big budget, $100+ million movies. I mean, on average, it's like $200 million to make these movies, right? Godzilla versus Kong, Matrix 4, doing all these movies. Like these are big budget films and a lot of hard work and dedication and what they believe themselves to be. And now, mind you, they worked hard to get these spots. They call themselves A-list and B-list actors, and they worked hard to climb that ladder. So it is a kind of a smack in the face to be like, oh, well, we're just going to take all your hard work. We're going to give it to everybody for free, right? Like this, I think movie theaters, like your box office, like take out, come back, bring back, whatever you want to call it, the money made off of the box office. I think that's the proof in the pudding, right? Yeah. I think that those numbers represent, okay, all my hard work paid off, right? Like all my hard work, it was liked, it was well received because the numbers match that. You see what I'm saying?
And especially with, I'm not sure who's directing Kong versus Godzilla, but with like Dune, the guy who directed that made the Blade Runner sequel, which was critically appreciated, but it didn't make money. And for a lot of these new directors,
Dennis Villanueva.
Dennis, how do you say Villanueva?
Villanueva, yeah.
Yeah. I had a hard time with that too.
Okay, Blade Runner was a good movie. It didn't make huge money at the box office. This is my chance to set myself up as the next Nolan or Spielberg or the next guy who's going to make big movies. And now it's like, oh, no, your movie is going to be on HBO Max. Exactly. That's not to say it might not be a success, but he wants to be able to say, hey, I made a $400 or $500 million movie in box office gross. I can now pick whatever project I want to do next. And now it's going to be hard to get. I mean, how do we know the success of anything when it's streaming? We don't
Right.
know how many people are watching a show unless Netflix puts it out and says, yeah, a lot of people are watching this. But and the problem with streaming, if something's not successful, a lot of times the ease the investors and say, oh yeah, the show did really well. That movie did really well on our streaming site, and it may not have. And
Yeah.
there is and this connects to it. Look, they're going to start giving out vaccines. Things are going to slowly open up. I think that maybe they were too premature for announcing it for the whole year.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing maybe Warner Brothers realized that even if we do put these back in theaters, we may end up losing, money. So I don't know. It's kind of a catch. They have this content sitting there. Black Widow still hasn't come out. We still don't know when that's coming out. So I don't know.
And so I just had the thing up there for it, but so I mean, Legendary's taking this a step further, guys. I mean, they're literally, they're calling their lawyers, and they're getting ready for a lawsuit because, so I think I had said it to you guys while off camera, but so that would be like me taking our show and bringing it to Twitch and not telling you guys that we're leaving YouTube, not telling you guys that we're changing anything, and just expecting you guys to roll with the punches. I mean, in a world where streaming services are probably the next big thing, this isn't the craziest thing I've ever heard. However, when this news came out, I was under the impression that they had a huge meeting and got everyone on the same page.
Yeah, no shit. So my guess is right here, right? I'm guessing that it works in the sense of like, okay, so say Legendary makes the movie, right? Warner Brothers releases said movie. Now, Warner Brothers tells Legendary, no matter how much we make in box office, you're still going to get X amount of money, right? I think it's fair to assume if Legendary is breaking out lawyers, it's because they're losing money, right? Like, it's not like an artistic thing. They're losing money, right? So I think it's, Warner Brothers takes the picture. Okay, we're going to give you $100 million. No matter how it does in the box office, nothing matters. You are guaranteed $100 million. But with the streaming service, that went out the window, right? Like there was, they never said anything. They never told them like, oh, well, we were supposed to make our money based off of movie releases, right? Like, where is this money going to come from now? Like, you didn't tell me anything. You just switch it. You guaranteed me $100 million. I want my money. And Warner Brothers is just kind of like, well, I don't know what to tell you. So like, all right, bet we'll take you to court. I'm gonna call my lawyers. You see what I'm saying?
There's two ways of looking at it. I bet you, I'm not sure how exactly it works, but Warner Brothers is the top dog, or AT&T is the top dog. They're like, yeah, you made the movie, but we gave you $100 million to make it. Like, and that has happened, right? We saw with the Snyder Cut. You're like, hey, we're giving you the money. We're now bringing in Joss Whedon. It's our money.
Yeah,
you do over to the side.
Yeah.
Right. The other way is looking at least they're still putting it in theaters. Could you imagine if this was just streaming?
Strictly HBOmax?
That
would be rough.
I think they're kind of covering their like, hey, maybe we could still make some money in theaters if people will go out if the lockdowns are eased up.
Yep. And I do have an update on Justice and I, when we went to the movies a couple times, we've talked about it before, how they didn't have concessions. So AMC just rolled out a limited menu that they're going to be using going forward. Okay. So concessions seeming to be coming back, and they've like readjusted the capacities and stuff. So from what we went and saw when the beginning of this stuff started to happen at theaters, there was no structure. There was no seats roped off. Like you were just expected to do all that stuff yourself. With Wonder Woman about to hit, they are going to be marking chairs that you can't sit in. It'll be blah, 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 blah. And there'll be limited concessions. So they're gearing up for what might be a return by audiences.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Look, I'm 100% willing to take all these, like, they're dumb and they're like inconveniences and they're annoying, but at least we get to go. Like, I was legitimately heartbroken that I wasn't I don't care about any other movie outside of monster movies and superhero movies. If I can't see them in theaters, like it genuinely
hurts.
It hurts. It genuinely hurts. So when they announced Wonder Woman is in fact coming, I was ecstatic. I was a little girl. I was cheering. I was very excited about that. So I'm willing to accept all the, like, I was expecting to go in like last time, Drizzle, with New Mutants and no popcorn, nothing. I don't give a damn. I just want to watch some movie.
Making some chicken nuggets or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably do that anyways.
Probably do that anyway. Yeah. So
you guys are going on Christmas Day, am I right?
Yes.
We will be going.
Yes, sir.
And by the way, we have to plug that Christmas Day we'll be doing a live show. So.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So on Christmas Day, we will be doing a kind of a review, first impressions of the Wonder Woman movie. So if on Christmas Day you're not sure, let's say you're not a DC fan, you're not really sure if you want to see Wonder Woman 2, Wonder Woman 1984, we will do a live show giving you our first impressions and review on Christmas Day. And we'll tell you if it's worth watching or not, or if you like it or not. And between the three of us, we have different opinions. So you're not going to be getting one big opinion.
Right. And we'll be experiencing it from both ends. So Jack is in Philadelphia, so he is not able to go to the theater. So he'll be watching it on HBOmax, and Justice and I will be heading to the big screen. So we'll let you know which one we feel is the best way to see this film. And the whole show will be based around Wonder Woman. It's our holiday special Wonder Woman review and breakdown. We'll sneak a couple other things in there as well, but mostly Wonder Woman stuff. Yes. So
sorry.
Moving on. So I know Justice is gonna be real happy about this.
Hit me.
Hit
me.
I just want to hear you. I just want to hear you try to say his name again.
Who?
I just.
I can't. Albert Maloney.
Yeah. So Alfred Molina and many more speculated and seemingly confirmed to join the Spider-Man 3 Untitled sequel from Sony and Marvel Studios. Justice is a huge Doc Ock from the original Spider-Man movie fan.
Damn right I am. Yeah, damn right I am. That's that scene when they're trying to remove it, right? The surgery scene, right? The little horror thing.
Pure Sam Raimi. Pure Sam Raimi. I love that.
Evil Dead written all over it. It was beautiful. I wish I could kiss him for it. It was amazing. I'm so excited.
So Alfred Molina, the Hollywood Reporter is confirming that Alfred Molina will be returning. So let's go down the list right now. So what we have right now is, now say everything is true. Say everything is true. We throw our bag of salt out and we write everything down. Alfred Molina, Dr. Octavius, Electro, Jamie Foxx, question mark next to it because we do not know if it's the same or a different one. Then we have Doctor Strange. Then we have the whole cast of the Spider-Man movies, including J. Jonah Jameson, alternate J. Jonah Jameson. This movie is going to be crazy.
Wait. You missed a couple. Toby is everything but confirmed. I mean, Toby is half a hair away. We're talking Emma Stone's Gwen Stacy, Kristen Dunst's MJ, Mary J. I almost said Mary J. Blige.
Mary J. Watts.
MJ. I mean, Toby, Andrew, MJ, Gwen. I mean, the list goes on and on, people. It doesn't end. And like from what I'm seeing, this is confirmed. Like this is gonna happen. Toby, I think, is the biggest of it. I'm pretty sure we will be seeing Toby.
Yeah, and okay, so the reason that I'm not saying those as confirmed is because they're not technically confirmed. So I don't want to go out and say that they are because they're not. So as soon as Sony and Marvel come at me and say, hey, listen, Spider-Verse is happening, and this is the guys, these are everyone who's going to be in it. At that point, I will say, yes, I'm super happy. This is amazing. I'm not even saying Alfred Molina is 100% official yet. Jamie Foxx still isn't 100% official yet.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I mean, these guys have been right about a lot before, but they've also been wrong. As of now, if you were to look at the direction it seems to be going, this all makes sense. This makes sense. So let's get happy about it. This is awesome. It seems like Spider-Man 3 is going to be crazy.
It really does.
I have a quick wonder. So we know that Marvel has its multiverse. DC has their multiverse. We know Disney and Marvel plan things quite ahead of time. Do you think that maybe this might be, I could be wrong, it's just me guessing, in response to the fact that back in May and June, DC said that the Flash movie is going to be multiverse. They're going to have Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck. We're going to, and all these rumors start saying they might get Catwoman, Piper, and all of a sudden Marvel's like, hey, why don't we do that? I don't know.
Yeah,
because it is many months later. I wonder if they were like, hey, why don't we do our own multiverse movie like Sony did?
So I'm almost positive this whole Marvel side of it has nothing to do with DC and has everything to do with the Into the Spider-Verse movie.
Okay.
Everybody and their mother, like that is their proclaimed best Spider-Man movie. Yeah. Hands down by far.
And Spider-Man.
No.
I was saying, like, and the thing with who knows? We know Miles Morales was kind of teasing the first movie. We meet his uncle, who's the Prowler.
Yep.
And right now, everybody's talking about the Spider-Man video game with Miles Morales. So you have like a lot of Spider-Man buzz. I'll tell you right now, I like the first two Spider-Man movies that MCU did, but I loved Spider-Man 2 that with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah,
this has got me excited. I'm like, go all out, get everyone, get the Japanese Spider-Man from the 70s too. Bring him in.
Oh my god,
I would love it. I would live for that.
So the only thing that like kind of shook me a little bit was they were like, "Oh, Gwen Stacy's coming back." I don't know if you remember, but dead. She snapped her neck.
Yeah.
On a fall through a clock tower. So how is this happening?
Okay, thank you so much. All right, because the same thing's been coming my way, right? All the reports I'm hearing are like it's gonna assume that like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man's like just kept on living their lives, right? So and they just happened to pop up in Spider-Man 3. Both Doc Ock and Gwen Stacy are no longer alive. Right. So what is this? Like,
right.
But they do the same thing where like, how like, especially in the comics when they do multiverses, sometimes the characters look different. It could be Gwen Stacy and an Andrew Garfield from another universe.
Right.
Where they look the same.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I heard possibilities of Spider-Gwen. The likelihood is very, very, very small. But like, Jack, if that was the case, like that's probably how they would go across it, right? Like that's Emma Stone, and yeah, she's Gwen Stacy, but it's not the same Gwen Stacy. She will eventually be Spider-Gwen. You see what I'm saying?
She was great, by the way, in those two movies.
Yeah, I like Emma Stone.
I thought she was great. I thought she would have made a better MJ because she has naturally red hair, but she was wonderful. I liked her a lot.
Yeah.
I never really liked Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane.
Hate her. I look, not for nothing, but I blame Raimi for that more than her because like Raimi's the reason she was acting the way she was acting. You know what I mean?
I can never get behind her, like in her lack of intensity, very monotone, Mary Jane. So I don't know. I would be okay if it was just the guys. And that's not like a sexist thing. I would just be okay if we left Mary Jane out of it. And focused on, I mean, it'd be kind of cool to have Zedenya's her characters. Is she Mary Jane? She is MJ, but she's not Mary Jane.
No, her name's not Mary Jane.
It's MJ.
It's MJ. I think
she's not Mary Jane.
She's like kind of in a reimagining because in the comics she's a red hair, very
right.
We're like, we're gonna reimagine her. She's a person of color. She's not necessarily Mary Jane Watson, but.
Yeah,
I think if you were going to go that route and you were going to create something for her to do as well, maybe meet the other two, Gwen Stacy and Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane. But if they're going to serve no purpose besides nostalgia, just leave them out because it's going to be harder to explain Gwen Stacy being alive from Amazing Spider-Man's universe than it is for her to actually be in it. So again, Marvel, I'm pretty confident that they'll do the right thing here, but
Imagine if they brought all three of them in just to pull like a Raimi move and just have them be like a damsel in distress, but it's like three Spider-Men trying to save their separate love interests. You know what I mean?
I just forgot. Isn't Sam Raimi directing Doctor Strange too? So now he's part of the MCU. So you got to know there's some connections there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I completely forgot that he's making now that Scott Derrickson.
Yeah, so, and I'm hoping for to see some of his touches in Spider-Man 3. We don't have a director yet, correct? That we haven't had a director announced, correct?
No,
I'm assuming it's going to be the same guy from the first two, maybe.
Most likely.
Most likely.
I mean, he's done a good job.
Yeah, he has absolutely. Far From Home is excellent. I'm hoping to see some of Raimi's kind of.
Well, the thing is,
flash in it.
The thing is typically how it would work, right? Would be, so say I am directing Doctor Strange 2, right?
Yep.
I am taking the character this direction, right?
Yep.
I would come in and work with Spider-Man's director in shaping the character the way I would like it to go.
Yep.
So there's a high possibility that Raimi comes into work with Spider-Man 3 to work with Doctor Strange and how it's going to line up. Also, if you'd be a complete fool to not take what he says about Spider-Man as absolute certainty and teaching moment. So if I was Marvel, I'd bring him in just to consult.
So can we real quick, because we're on Spider-Man, Drizzle, please, for God's sake, explain to me, why is Raimi on such like a god tier of Spider-Man knowledge? Why? Have you watched his trilogy recently?
I have I've said this a million times. I don't care for Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I don't. I think it's because of my natural hatred with being called Tobey Maguire everywhere I've ever went in my life. I wish
you didn't say, because now I see it now.
Yeah, no. Like I've been across the country, California, Nevada, Colorado, and they're always, you know who you look like? And I'm like, let me guess, Tobey Maguire. And they're like, oh my God, yeah. And I just get so aggravated. And I mean,
I love that voice.
Yeah, it's beside the point. But no, I didn't really care for it. I thought it was very dramatic. I thought it was very he wasn't as quirky and like funny as I knew Spider-Man to be.
He was real heavy on the dork.
Yeah.
He was very heavy on the dork. You know, like not in a lovable way, just in a like, oh, that guy's a dork.
Yeah.
Way, you know?
You have to remember, like, this was like a period where, like, movie came out in 2002. This was still that age where they cast like people in their late 20s as teenagers.
That's true.
They were still doing that in movies back then. Like, they were like, oh, you know, the key person who was a teenager in 2001 is like 60 now. I'm like, how? It's because they were pretty old there. He had also he was kind of huge at the time. He did that movie Cider House Rules. I think he was nominated for an Oscar. He was kind of big at the time. And we talked about at the time of the Spider-Man movies, there weren't that many good comic book movies. There was maybe the Tim Burton movies, the Chris Reeve movie. A lot of people didn't know
Spider-Man and X-Men virtually changed everything.
Yeah, absolutely. By far. Absolutely.
And Kevin Feige worked on the original Spider-Man. He wasn't show, but he was like a small fry.
So I just think that Sam Raimi, the Spider-Man trilogy, the original, everyone knows those movies. Absolutely. Everyone remembers them, and for the most part, they were overall super successful. If I had the chance to bring Raimi in and help me, I would.
Yeah, as cheesy and campy and like unironically just ridiculous those movies are, for the most part, like lore wise, Sam Raimi's right on point. I mean, like it might not be a fan of him, but like Toby really got Peter down.
Yeah.
Like,
so
he really
and just like actors grow and they learn, Sam Raimi isn't the same director he was then as he is now. So
very true.
I mean, we'll see how things go, and I have the utmost faith.
You know, the one thing about the original Spider-Mans or even the Amazing Spider-Man was that it was kind of in a world where the other superheroes didn't exist. So if something bad happened in New York, it was all on Spider-Man.
Sure.
And one of the issues you have, not an issue, but with Far From Home and Homecoming, he's in a world where Iron Man is right down the street. Thor is right there. They have an opportunity with this third film because right now the Avengers are basically gone. Tony Stark is gone. Cap is gone. We don't know what's going on with Winter Soldier and Falcon just yet. We know Doctor Strange is around. Thor is off with the. So if anything major happens in the city of New York, he's kind of on his own.
This is true.
Iron Man coming to help him save him. So they could write a really big story where when he's still in high school, like 17, 18-year-old has this huge problem. He's the only person who can stop it. No Avengers, no one to help him. And then you could really raise the stakes. And then when you bring the multiverse into it, this could be a size film that could be as big as, let's say, Infinity War in its own way.
Yeah, I think it'll be the Civil War of Phase 4.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
In terms of how it changes the future of the MCU, how it brings a lot of characters in, I think it's gonna be crazy.
So I'm a little stuck right now because Multiverse of Madness. This was my original theory, but it's looking like my theory is going to end up in Spider-Man, not Multiverse of Madness. But I think it's fair to assume that the whole multiverse is going to be introduced because of something Strange does, right? He doesn't understand it. He doesn't understand it yet. He has no idea what he's doing, and he makes a big mess, right? He's popping holes everywhere, and he doesn't know how to stop it, right? But
maybe something as a result of the snap, he's trying to bring back someone who didn't come back. I don't know.
Possibly something of that sort. My guess is it's gonna be 100% accidental. It's just gonna kind of happen, right? Like Strange is always learning. He's a doctor, right? So he's always learning. He's a wizard and he's a legitimate doctor. So he's always learning. He's always taking in knowledge. So
and
I'm guessing exactly. So I'm guessing he stumbles across something revolving around the multiverse, right? Oh, what is this? Piques his interest, figures out how to open it, but he doesn't know how to stop it. Boom, boom, boom. All this crazy stuff happens. That leads into Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
And WandaVision is going to lead into Doctor Strange too. So we have two things kind of that are going to be converging with Doctor Strange 2. New theory. Wanda messes everything up. Doctor Strange is trying to fix everything. That seems more like Vision. Yeah, that seems more likely. Wanda is supposed to finally realize her true potential.
This is just House of M. WandaVision is just House of M. That's all.
Right. So let's talk about something that kind of aggravates me. And so I
better not say me.
I was about to make that joke, but then I was like,
"Beat you to it, Jack."
So that kid Justice Holmes really just irks me.
I heard he's a sexy beast, though.
So Comic-Con Experience Brazil was a total flop. Supposed to be, my everybody's favorite person, Grace Randolph, was spewing nonsense once again. There's gonna be a trailer for this. King Kong. There's gonna be a trailer for the Suicide Squad. There's gonna be a trailer for Spiderman. I mean, this lady went on and on. I swear to God, she can't tie her own shoes, but that's beside the point.
Jesus Christ!
She went off on her Twitter, she just can't breathe without making up things. So she got everyone excited for her Comic-Con experience, and as always, they were let down. To nothing, because Comic-Con experience, they didn't show anything that we haven't seen before. It was basically a copy and a re-showing of DC fandom, which was weird.
Yeah. Well, this was Sunday night, right?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I remember when you messaged me like, "Oh my God, there's a Comic-Con going on." I'm like, "There is?" I'm like, because we're all three of us are on social media, and then you told me which one. And I had to look it up. I'm like, "Wait, which one is this?"
Yeah.
And when you said there might be a Suicide Squad trailer and we might have to do a show talking about it, I was like, all right, I'm ready, but I don't think so. And the only reason why is that Brazil is a huge market, but if you're going to put out new content, this is going to sound a little arrogant. The place you want to put it out is in the United States of America because it's a massive market.
Yeah, of course.
Market, and there's no way they're going to put a new Suicide Squad trailer in Brazil and then be like, oh, hey, we did a trailer in Brazil. They're going to put that on, HBO Max. They're going to put it on YouTube.
Yeah. If it's not us, it's China. It's one of the other. It's definitely not Brazil. You're absolutely right.
Well, Comic-Con Brazil 2019 was one of the better Comic-Cons of all time.
Yeah, but all the same, like everybody got the same like reveals and stuff. You know what I mean? Like it might have turned out better down in Brazil, but they didn't get anything we didn't get. You know what I'm saying?
They did.
Oh.
Yeah, they had a Wonder Woman trailer, right?
Yeah, so you guys, I think you guys are, Brazil's one, like Sao Paulo is one of the largest that's the reason they do the Comic-Con down there. Yeah, it's crazy. They showed up in the tens of thousands.
Really?
Yeah.
Good shit, Brazil. That's what I'm talking about.
So, they literally broke the sound barrier.
Really?
With the Wonder Woman panel down there. So,
I mean, I honestly would not even, like, everything I just said, I was 100% like genuine about. I would never expect Brazil to be one of the biggest markets. I know it's huge,
but then again,
here's the reason why. What's the big thing right now, especially with DC films? HBO Max. Yeah. I don't know if they have HBO Max down there. They might have to have different distribution rights. So I don't know, like that's why maybe they just didn't do much for this except showing you what you already had.
And so but the thing is they laid it out like this. So Warner Brothers had 6 hours. They didn't let you know what was at what time. They didn't let you know what was happening when. They just penciled in 6 hours worth of content and didn't let you know. So people literally sat there for 6 hours watching this online just to get a recycled version of DC fandom.
Wow.
And it really, really upset people.
Yeah, of course.
So, I mean, word is we did hear that from James Gunn himself that the movie, The Suicide Squad, is officially it's like 95.6% done. All he needs to do is put the sound effects, visual effects, and the score together. So there could be a potential. So now they're thinking that James Gunn could put out a Suicide Squad trailer ahead of Wonder Woman. And I do think that would be the smartest and most logical thing to do.
Either that or bring it with Wonder Woman.
That's what I was going to say. Because I was thinking December 25th when it airs on HBO Max and it airs in theaters. Because it won't be on TV. A lot of people forget.
Exactly.
Max. It's not going to be on the HBO channel. What if, and sometimes they put ads. Could you imagine an ad for the Snyder Cut or now maybe Suicide Squad? Only on HBO Max, only in theaters. I mean, you have the whole internet ablaze. Like, dude, we got Wonder Woman and we got a whole trailer.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas to Driip.
That's what I was going to say. So Christmas, for our Christmas special, there's a potential that we could have new Snyder content, new Suicide Squad content. I mean, they could load this whole Wonder Woman movie out. Me and him could come out of the theater and not even realize that what we missed on HBO Max was this, and this. You know, but there's potential for it, and that's okay. If you want to hype HBO Max up, your first release, you're going to be like, okay, here's this, and then you take that back to Legendary and like, I'm sorry, what did you say? Like, look how many people watched it like this. But it's all a numbers game.
You're absolutely correct, Drizzle. That is the 100% logical way to come across this, but I do not think that's how Warner Brothers would come across it. I really don't. I don't see them doing anything for HBO Max trailer, and why is that they wouldn't also do with their theatrical release. I just don't see that happening. But you are correct.
Yeah, I just the Wonder Woman movies probably already been sent to places.
Yep.
With HBO Max, they can upload that stuff the day before and have it ready to go. Whereas the theatrical ones, you need to send the trailers that you want with the film, and only these trailers can accompany it. You have other companies putting trailers in it too. I just maybe they. I mean, you can send. All right. So here, fun fact. You know who delivers movies like high profile Marvel, DC movies? You know who brings those to the theater?
No.
Armored truck.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Yeah. An armored truck pulls up to the theater. 2 guards get out, locked and loaded. You're carrying a what potentially is $1 million piece of property.
It's just like a USB, right? It's just
no,
like they're digital, but they're not just USB sticks. No, it's everybody stand back.
Yeah. But I mean, you're potentially holding what is $1 billion piece of property.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, Endgame was $1 billion piece of property. Imagine that. That's insane.
I mean, I worked at the movie theater for a while back in the day. And
did you witness that with your own eyes?
I've signed for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like management has to sign for it. It's crazy. It's like a legit ordeal.
Wow.
Because if the theaters loses that, you're responsible for that. Lost in profit, and that could potentially be the whole movie going online.
Wow.
So I mean, it's real deal Holyfield kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's not a game. That's not a game. They will ruin your life if you played any kind of tricks in games and that ended up online. They would, to this day, you'd be paying for that.
Yep.
And this might be the first time. Like, I'm thinking of a big release. Like, obviously, it's a movie. But I remember when they released Stranger Things season 3 on the weekend of 4th of July.
Okay, keep going. Act like you've been there before, kid.
Americans watched Stranger Things on that weekend because I was like, are people going to sit and watch a show? This is before the pandemic. Are they going to sit and watch a show on a weekend holiday? And the answer was yes, they will. So I have a feeling HBO, they're going to put their numbers out on the 26th or the 27th and say, look how well we did. Going back to what you're saying, Ty, they're going to be like, what did you say, legendary? Look how many people watched this movie.
Yeah. I think it's fair to assume Wonder Woman's going to bring in crazy kind of numbers on HBOmax. Everybody, it's Christmas Day. Why not? Everybody's it's Christmas Day. You're with your kids on a Friday. Why wouldn't you put the new Wonder Woman movie on?
Exactly. And even if you got Saturday, Sunday, you got 2 more days, you got a whole weekend to watch the movie, and people are going to watch it twice. Right.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. For me personally, I'll probably come out of the theater, do our show, and then watch it, and then watch it again.
Absolutely. And I can say that with confidence. Absolutely.
So they'll be able to register my number at least twice.
The number 2 right here.
Ticket, my theater ticket will count as one, and then my HBO Max will count as one for them. So I mean, you got at least 6 viewings right in this room alone.
Easy.
So I mean, that's really, I mean, that's what we got for today. I just wanted to make sure we went a little longer than Justice and I spoke about. Jack and I are actually going to hang around for a little while, and we're going to talk some alien stuff.
Oh my God, that sounds spooky. Big Driip don't do spooky scary. Y'all can have that. I gotta sleep for work and some more. I don't need nightmares and I gotta worry about aliens probing my butt. No, I'm good. y'all can talk about that. Listen, people, Big Driip loves you. He appreciates you. Yes, Jack. Yes, Drizzle. That counts for you too as well. Technical grammar, whatever your name was, I also appreciate you because we do it for you.
Yeah, we had
for the culture.
We had some solid numbers actually today.
Oh yeah,
popping in and out. But thank you for making every day special, Justice.
Yeah, don't make me blush on camera. We're live.
Ain't no one can see that on you. Don't worry.
Wow. On that note, I'm out.
No, I can't see it through the camera. All right, you know what I meant. So yeah, man, some alien stuff happening. Why don't you tell us what's going on here? Because I'm interested.
So here's what happened. I'm reading this because I want to get the titles right, because this is not some random person who was a janitor or some guy's like, oh, I worked at NASA and I used to hand out sandwiches. This is the former Israeli space security chief. All right. He was the top dog in their version of, you could say, NASA.
Okay.
This is his exact quote. His name is Hayat Eshed, and this is part of Israel's defense ministry. So this is like their version of the DoD, their space directorate. The unidentified flying objects have asked us not to publish that they are here. Humanity is not ready yet.
Wait, 1 second. I didn't need you to start that over.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I didn't know it went like that.
Yeah. So basically, let me first paraphrase what he said. He basically said that UFOs are real, and by UFOs are real mean they are actual aliens and not just, Russian aircraft.
Right.
He has said, and I'm going to read this quote first. There is an agreement between the United States government and the aliens. Trump is aware of their existence and has been on the verge of revealing information, but was asked not to in order to prevent mass hysteria. Now, before I go forward, anyone's watching is about to click off. This guy is a legit source. He's a legit person. Number two, this is being reported by mainstream media. Yahoo's reporting it. Fox is reporting it, NBC. When we give you guys some information, we want to double check, that we're not like going on like UFO.com/HTML / Bob.
Yeah.
But this is big news. And he is saying, this gets crazier, and I want to quote it, that the aliens have asked us, they're part of a galactic federation, and apparently they have an underground base on Mars. There are already American astronauts there, and the reason they don't want to make themselves public is because they're afraid humanity might mass panic. Now, it sounds a little bit out there, but if you ask yourself, what has happened in the last couple of years, out of nowhere, outgoing President Trump created the United States Space Force.
Literally, and you wouldn't even think that he would be smart enough to why Trump Space Force? It never actually made sense, right?
Unless he was told by the DoD or the CIA, look, this is a threat we're dealing with. We might have, not a threat, but this is something we have to prepare for. And so we need to create another branch of the military. Like, for example, the Air Force used to be part of the Army back in the day.
Right. And then they branched off, no pun intended.
During the summer, and this is weird because this wasn't mom and dad's recorder, the Pentagon.
The Pentagon issued, yeah.
And says, hey, these are craft. We don't know what they are. And they're making movements like this.
Right. And
we can't do, and we can't, according to the laws of physics, move like this. And it just feels like they're kind of buttering up us slowly for something that might come in the alien world. I think they call it full disclosure.
Yeah. So let me just go on. So what he was saying about the crafts being able to move like that, right?
Yeah.
If you guys watch Joe Rogan, which I think everyone should, it's probably one of the best shows, streams, whatever in the world. He's consistent. So he's had people like Bob Lazar on. He's had people like Commander Fravor on. All of them kind of saying the same thing about these crafts that are not from this earth, that can do things that human technology can't, including but not limited to being able to excel at rapid rates, speed of light kind of rates, and turn 90 degrees, go backwards. I mean, it looks like a literal tic-tac in the sky going back and forth. It looks like that in Space Invaders game where they're going back and forth. And Commander Fravor was a person in the military who was tasked with one night with following one of these ships. And there's video of the thing just doing crazy maneuvers, literal crazy maneuvers. You would think this dude was crazy. But this is, I agree with you, Jack. I do. Maybe they're buttering us up and getting us ready for what could be a big, listen, this is a reality, guys. We've known about it for many years. We don't want to hold it from you guys anymore because there's a potential that this could come here.
Yeah. And, I want to go on the record and say, I was not a person who was into this stuff until the last 4 or 5 years of my life where, I was kind of whatever, science fiction, but now it's, how many things in our own life, including what we're doing right now, was science fiction at one point, communicating across high definition screens.
Right.
It's interesting because he's not this Israeli defense minister. He was not people like Edgar Mitchell, who was an actual Apollo astronaut who went to the moon, has been saying for years that he saw stuff on the moon. He's really big in the UFO community. And then, of course, the argument was, well, maybe he's just trying to make money. You know, like he's older. What great way to make money than say he saw aliens. So he hasn't really gotten big coverage. NASA's put him off. They said, oh, no, he's just saying stuff. But the fact that mainstream media and all this stuff tends to be connected, the fact that they're reporting on it, and they also reported on the UFO videos in July. It wasn't like it went on YouTube and went viral. And then doing segments on it, MSNBC, Fox, all the big ones. I have a feeling there's a bit of a coordination where not necessarily the reporters themselves know, but they're the heads of those places, the head of CNN or Yahoo News or NBC is being told, hey, you can run this story.
Right.
You're not going to get like made fun of or insulted. I also think that the perception of aliens has changed. I remember back in the 90s, every alien movie was a negative movie, that they're going to come here and they're going to take water or they're going to blow us up,
And I do think that plays a part. So the reason that we're bringing this up today isn't because we just want to have a fun talk about aliens, although that is 60% of it. So aliens depicted in pop culture have mainly been here to wreck the planet, run our resources dry, blah, 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 blah. The list goes on and on. However, that isn't necessarily always the case, right? So aliens could just be like what we are, right? So they just want to live their lives. They want to explore and they want to do that and become multiple planetary species, blah, blah, blah. We're on that course as of right now. Yeah. There's potential for us to inhabit a new planet. So the reason that maybe they couldn't get here for many years is the same reason we can't get there right now. There's so many factors. And the reason that we haven't got our planet blown up yet by them kind of signifies to me that, they're not seeking world or universe domination.
And the reason we say that is because that's what we've done. Anytime a superior force has found an inferior force, like the Europeans coming to the Native America, to the Americas, they always do that. But now I think Americans are slightly more scientific literate rather, because now we know that any resources we have on Earth can be found anywhere else. We now know that water is everywhere. It used to be like, oh, maybe Earth only has water, that's why the aliens want to come. No, there's water everywhere. It'd be easier for them to go to Europa and get water from there than to come to Earth, where it's like 98% salt water.
Right. And oil, I'm almost certain can be found plenty of other places or something like it. From the ships that Bob Lazar talked about, and which were seemingly confirmed by Commander Fravor, their machinery doesn't even run on oil because that is primitive in terms of what it's element. Oh God, it's element something. I can't remember what it was.
115 or 118.
Yeah, element 115. Yeah. That stuff can do. That is alone ahead of anything that we have. So oil is somewhat primitive to them.
And it's interesting about element 115 because when Bob Lazar first came out in the late 80s, 90s, a lot of people just wrote him off. The government said he never worked for us until someone went and found like a phone book.
Of the Area 50. It wasn't Area 51. It was
it's right near there. I forgot what it's called.
It's a similar.
One of the things Bob talked about was element 115. And everyone was like, dude, he just made that up. And then recently, in the last, I think, few years, scientists somewhere in Europe were able to either create temporarily, briefly, element 115.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, wait, so maybe he wasn't lying, and all of a sudden now there's kind of been this resurgence of looking back at what Bob Lazar was saying, because Bob is not trying to make money off of this. He didn't write.
He's only jeopardized himself. He's only hurt himself by coming out. He's only, and the only reason he came out was to protect himself. To say, if anything happens to me from this point on, it's because of this. So, I want to be on record saying it so that that like I didn't just die in some chemical fire that, or electrical fire that, was a tragedy. Like,
yeah, exactly.
And can you keep talking though? Cause I just got to grab my laptop charger before it dies.
Yeah. So I guess I'll talk to those who are watching, I personally, I was never into this stuff. I always thought of science fiction. I'm a big Star Trek fan. I love Star Wars. Star Trek is more our future. But recently, like the last couple of years, I was looking at the incidents we all hear about, right? And for every incident that, where there's mystery to it, there's an incident that's kind of stupid. For example, a couple of months ago, right? I'm in Philadelphia, right in Jersey. People saw a UFO and they went nuts. People stopped on the middle of the highway looking at this UFO. Turns out it was a Goodyear blimp. I mean, you could see the FAA light at the top. And a lot of times those incidents that are easily explained away are sort of used as proof that any incident is to be disregarded. Any incident, it's stupid. It's illiterate people who don't know anything about astronomy or anything about science. They're seeing things. So, did you remember this Goodyear thing that happened a couple of months ago? It actually made the news. It was actually a Goodyear blimp off in the distance. And I think they had a new color scheme. And everyone on this highway just stopped to take pictures of it. And it turned out it was a Goodyear blimp. But often that is used to negate any truly strange phenomena. And I've noticed a lot with sort of the scientific community, especially this sort of celebrity scientific community. Like you talk about, what's the guy?
Bill Nye.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, who they were like, well, show me an alien body. Until you show me an alien. I'm like, well, if this is going like this and we can't do that, they'll be like, well, I don't know what that is. It could be the Russians. I'm like, if the Russians have done that, then we're really in trouble. But like, it's all sort of, and people I respect, Sam Harris, they'll all say the same thing. Now, show me actual proof of an alien, and then we can talk. Other than that, you don't know what it is. And to some degree, they're right. We don't know what it is. But if we know what human capabilities with flight are, and we're seeing things, doing things that we know are against the laws of physics, and we're not talking about farmers in Kentucky. We're talking about trained, American pilots. We're also talking about pilots who fly commercial planes, seeing stuff. These aren't like average. Okay, so I'm an idiot who doesn't know anything about avionics, but they're saying, hey, we sell this. And now with YouTube, people can upload stuff directly to YouTube and say, hey, I saw this. There's some proof. What is this? And sometimes someone can just be like, nah, that's just
Photoshop.
Photoshop, or that's actually a flock of seagulls and like the lights hit in a certain way.
There does pose issues with YouTube as well, though. Like I said, the Photoshop thing and the way that technology has advanced so far that I could literally create something and put it out as if it was declaring this is real and this is something that I saw. And some people would actually believe it. However, I don't think this is the case that's happening now. The Pentagon and stuff. Like who would have thought that we live in a world where the Pentagon, the United States government, is telling us that we don't know what this is. It's not ours. And now potentially that they've known about
Earth. Like why would they say that? Why not say it's the Chinese or Russians or whatever?
Right.
We have to get more money for the defense bill. The Russians have this. We're gonna have $1 trillion.
The guy that Trump is, like, if anyone's about to spill these secrets, man, it's him, because he's salty. He is so salty about losing the presidency that who knows, this guy might just start running Twitter with the alien conspiracies, man.
I hope he does. I hope he's like, this is what happened to JFK. This is who killed him. This is how I met the alien. A lot of money. I just hope he goes all throughout it,
the best alien I think I've ever met. I don't do a good Trump like you do. But
conspiracy theory that's ever happened in American history. The founding fathers were actually Freemasons. Just like tweet everything, release it, and just like walk out. And then poor Joe is going to have his inauguration. Everyone's going to talk about how the CIA killed JFK and Bobby Kennedy. Like, oh my God.
Right, Joe Biden he's just never. You know what? Trump, man, that dude can get a crowd going. That's for sure.
Yeah. He's the only person where I feel like the CIA would be like, you better not say anything about this. And he's going to take that as like a challenge. Like, you think so? What are you going to do to me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't care about national security or mass hysteria.
Right. It's just like, it's like a little kid when, your parents tell you, don't drink, don't do drugs. And he's like, yeah. And then goes out to a party on Friday night. Everyone. Yeah. Oh, man. But yeah, who knows, man? Hey, Superman could exist too.
Yeah.
Think about that.
They always say there's an infinite amount of universes with infinite possibilities. I'm like, is there a world where Superman does exist and Batman does exist? And what our fiction is actually their reality? I'm like, oh,
right. And it was actually just Stan Lee and Bob Kane and Bill Finger like tapping into the other world, right?
Yeah, like what we consider like imagination is just us linked psychically to actual things that have happened.
Right. It's honestly, stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
Stranger things have happened. I mean, I'm all for it, man. I'm all for knowing the truth. I'm all for information being public.
Yeah.
However, I am also on board with not knowing things that I don't need to know.
Yeah.
And until I see a spacecraft, entering Earth atmosphere, if you want to keep that shit a secret from me, that's cool with me. And we can continue talking about it and until it affects my daily life. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. However, it's kind of cool to think like, I mean, I've always been the type, even when I was really, really, really young, there's no way that we're the only ones in the universe. There's simply no effing way that we're the only intelligent, and I really quote intelligent, because summarizing by our planet, I don't know if intelligence is the correct word, but if we're the advanced life form and the only one in the universe, come on, it don't make sense.
You know what? I would think that, let's say they do full disclosure, I think it would help everyone on this earth just get over their own BS. Like all the stuff that's dividing us right now. Like right now, everyone is just so divided. Like I think that would disappear overnight. Like
we become one world.
Yeah.
Not countries, but you know what, Jack? Damn, man, that's 100% right. Because, like, at that point, you don't like. All right, Iran, what's up, man? Like, point your nukes towards the sky.
Yeah.
Not at us. Like, we want to continue living. Like, but that's also not the right way to go about it either.
Yeah. But could you imagine, like, okay, so let's say we're being visited. They must have figured out how to travel faster than light, right? That's how they're doing this all stuff. If they know how to do that, chances are their medical advancements must be equally as crazy. They would probably have solutions to stuff that's I'm not talking COVID. I'm talking about actual serious, stuff.
Cancer.
Yeah, exactly. They would probably have, if they can manipulate time and space, they would. I know I'm going to get into science fiction here, but we are pop culture. If you ever watched the Star Trek, in the Star Trek lore, humanity was at war and all this other stuff. And then finally we were visited and it changed humanity. All of a sudden, humanity got over all their problems. They started building ships. They started, developing technologies to make themselves better. And the whole idea of the Star Trek future is that in the future, humanity is not petty. They're not obsessive. They're not bitter. They're about bettering themselves. And I feel like that's what separates Star Trek from other sci-fi. It wasn't dystopian. It was actually a utopia. Like, we will actually develop technologies to make our lives better, help everyone else. And I think if they arrived, not only with their medical advancements just change us, it solves overpopulation. If they can show us how you can travel to another planet, we become forget about Mars. We can go to another planet that is just like Earth, that has the atmosphere. And I know this is, we're getting a little out there. And by the way, for those watching, we're not tinfoil hat people, but this is pretty big news,
No, I don't.
We're not like,
No, I think that'd be really, 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 really cool. However, like what scares me is if they ever did want to come down here and do like a formal meeting, the world would react defensively. And,
probably.
Like that's what needs to not happen. Because
that's why they do the abductions. Those gonna take us up.
Yeah.
Coming down there.
And listen, Trump should not be the one to go up there and talk to them. Just let's get someone who's not half in the bag to go up and usher peace into an intergalactic deal. Because hey, I'm cool with. I would be okay with joining the Galactic Federation or whatever you said.
Yeah, man, I'd sign up. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Listen, I'm totally on board with becoming a Green Lantern. So
yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so I mean, sign me up. And listen, imagine this. 10 years from now, today on the show, Alien Bill. Like, come on, Alien Bill. He wants to come talk Superman with us.
Yeah. And they've got to have their own art, their own pop culture. I mean,
yeah, as long as it's not like District 9, I'm cool.
Yeah. And of course, you could imagine if there was a civilization, this is where they have that thing called the Kardashev scale that can travel faster than light, and they have to have advanced on an evolutionary scale way ahead of us. Like, they wouldn't be like the Predator going planet to planet killing people. Like, you know what I mean? They would have to be more involved with that.
I'm so like, all right, for instance, stay with me here for a minute, right? Try to stay. So you go watch a movie, right? You go watch Independence Day on your TV, and you see aliens coming down, blah, 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 blah. And you watch that and it's a movie, it's a film. But the way it happens, like, then you go outside and you look into the sky and you're like, there's no way, like, it just doesn't, you couldn't picture what happens in that film actually happening outside, right? There's like a disconnect, or there's a line that you can draw in your head, like, for what's fiction and what's reality. But to think that the United States government knows that there's a possibility that Independence Day could actually happen, like, it blows my mind. It really does. Like, knowing that on the moon that I can see from my doorstep has something that I can't even fathom deep inside of it. Like, I think that that's truly it's remarkable. And it's beautiful in its own way, but it's also a little bit scary.
It's a bit scary, but I have hope, because the way I look at it, and from everything we have seen, they seem to want to get away. Like, they're not trying to be like, if they were taken over, like, a lot of people use the analogy, like, they might be like humans and we might be like ants. Well, do you really care about hiding from an ant? You wouldn't. I think the fact that they're hiding themselves means they don't want their presence known. And I also think it might mean they're not hostile. If they were hostile, they wouldn't give a crap. They would just come and do whatever they wanted.
Right.
But I have hope. I have positive hope. I don't think.
Yeah, and honestly, have you seen the movie Arrival?
Which one?
Arrival.
There's two of them. There's the one from the 90s, and there's the one with what's her face, Lois Lane.
Amy Adams. Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, I saw that.
That film is the most accurate depiction, or the most accurate way that I think an alien invasion would go down. Or not an alien invasion, but an alien encounter would go down. So they're actually so that all makes sense, right? They're here to teach us about a coming disease that's going to wipe your ass out.
Yeah.
I want to show you how to solve that issue. But we have this communication barrier. So in order for me to teach you, I first have to teach you the language, and I have to be able to communicate with you. But all while they're trying to do that with us, we're getting defensive because we think they're here to kill us, because that's what we've been brought up in pop culture world. Like, that is a brilliant story.
That's a great movie.
It is a brilliant story. The aliens are here to help us. We don't know how to talk to them. So they want to teach us their language, but we're busy wondering if we should bomb them. Like, it's all too real. Arrival, honestly, I walked out of Arrival's the theater that day, with a little bit of a shiver, because it was so accurate. And it gave me the chills. Like, it gave me, honestly, a little bit of the heebie-jeebies, because I thought, like, wow, that was so real. Like, that, if an alien spaceship came down right now, that's exactly what it would be like. Everyone would freak out. The Russians would go offline. Iran would go offline. Like, no one would be communicating with each other anymore. And they'd be worried about protecting themselves. And
which is why I think that what this guy is saying is that they So that way, okay, we want to present ourselves, but we're going to do it through the back door. Like, you get your people ready, that way. So when we arrive, the U.S. government's like, yep, we know what's going on. Or the world government leaders like, we know what's going on.
Dude. Imagine that like 2 years from now, they're like, hey guys, so so someone's coming to the house. So if you see the huge spaceship, that's we're having people over for dinner. Like that would be oh my, I don't even know. Like, and you're right. Like the government would be like, all right, so we've made connection. We've made contact with these extraterrestrials. We're inviting them down. Like, dude, how does that like honestly, I'm at a loss for words. Like, I couldn't even picture how that goes down. That's crazy.
They would probably have to do it in an undisclosed location because some people are going to get scared, take out their machine guns and start shooting.
Yeah.
They're probably going to be like in an undisclosed location. And by the way, there are a lot of theories out there based off, I don't know, whatever, that they have met with as early as President Truman, Eisenhower, that they have met.
Yeah.
We don't know. There's no way to verify that.
Shit, man, is the Men in Black real?
That could be. Well, have you heard the stories about it?
Yeah.
I thought that was something they made up for the movie, but there are stories about, people saying we saw something and government agents showing up.
All dressed in black. Like there's pictures. And then in the background, there's a guy in a black suit, turned around. I mean, they're obviously all could be faked and stuff, but I mean, there are things that have pointed towards it being real. Hey, listen, if you guys are already on that, right? If you're already on that stuff, you're already knowing how to protect us, and you're doing it for the better of of the humanity, right? You're keeping this secret because you want to keep us safe. Listen, I'm okay with that. Sooner or later, we're gonna find out. When whatever happens, but there's things that the public should know, and then there's things that the public doesn't need to know yet.
Yeah.
And I think aliens falls under that yet category.
Yeah. It's interesting you talked about them trying to protect us. The theory we've heard is that all of a sudden we started seeing UFOs in the sky after humans, more specifically America, discovered the atomic bomb. That all of a sudden that might have been the triggering event, like a radar went off somewhere that, hey, they've reached atomic power. Because
they've reached a level that we need to now monitor.
Exactly. Yeah. And I've heard stories, again, this is always from someone we were at a nuclear base and all of a sudden everything went off and stuff all these random stories that are kind of crazy. And you're like, well, are all these people lying? Are all these people making this up? No.
And it's actually a fact that more UFO sightings happen in the vicinity of a nuclear power plant. Yeah. There's nuclear, a military base that stores certain things. A lot of there's a high density of cases or sightings in places of that caliber. So that theory would make sense. I believe that.
Can I make a recommendation on a future show? We have a packed month. We should do a thing where we talk about our favorite UFO things and maybe our top five alien movies. Yeah. Whether it's science fiction, horror, we should totally do a retro thing. But it's one of the most famous cases that converted me was there was an incident at an American base in the UK where technically the US invaded England because they went off the base because there was a sighting of these lights over the course of 2 days. Have you ever heard of this, Rendlesham Forest?
No.
That was the one where I was like, holy crap, because you had actual soldiers who were there and this is what happened. Alarm bells went off. Now, I don't know if they kept nuclear weapons there. If they did, they probably wouldn't tell us.
I'm honestly going to go on. I'm going to go on saying that they probably do.
You probably did. Something happened, and they just showed up in the Rendlesham Forest, which was where an American base was in the UK. And technically, they went out of the American air base, which technically counts as an invasion by the US.
Right.
But that's a fascinating story. That was one of the ones where I was like, okay, something's going on here. This can't all be bunk.
Right. Yeah, no. And then there's that story about Los Angeles. So there's the spacecraft or the craft that was over Los Angeles that they literally locked down the city and they were shooting like turrets and stuff at this ship. Like literally a battle in Los Angeles with a flying object. And then the next day they were like, no, we don't know what you're talking about. Like, what? Doug, you were shooting at something in the sky. And now today you want me to like forget that? No.
Yeah. They're like, oh, it might have been the Japanese or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
The other one was the one that really was like the straw that broke the camel's back for me in terms of like becoming a believer was the incident called the Phoenix Lights incident. Because boy, did the government change. Did you hear about this one? This was in 1997. All these lights appear over Phoenix. It's one thing when you have video camera that's grainy. It's another thing when you have thousands of people saying, we saw these lights. They were hovering and there was no sound and they were connected. First, the government says there was nothing there. Then they said, oh, it was we were doing dropping flares. It was a C-130 or something dropping flares all over the state. Then they said, actually, it was the Maryland Air National Guard performing maneuvers. That goes.
Right, so they changed their story how many times? 3?
Yeah, they changed it twice. And here's what's funny. There was a Cessna pilot who was flying. His story has been in every documentary about this. He's flying. He sees he calls the Las Vegas International Airport. Is this one of your lights? Is this yours? They're like, no, that's not us. Sorry, not Las Vegas, in Phoenix, Arizona. They're like, we have no flights up here. It's not us. 20 years later, during a press reveal, Kurt Russell. And Kurt Russell then told the story. He's like, yeah, I saw these lights. I contacted Phoenix International Airport. They said it wasn't them. Then because the story had been told so many times that a Cessna pilot saw something. And then they called the military base on the radio. You know, they have ways to contact them. They're like, we don't have anything up here. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. So then for the U.S. government, then a week later to say, oh, yeah, they're
right. That's
over the city
crazy.
Of Phoenix and all across the state. It's called the Phoenix Lights incident. Like, when I saw that, and the governor of the state was a total jerk. The next day, he did a big press conference. We found the culprit. It was like one of his staff members dressed as an alien.
No way. What a dick.
Yeah, as a joke. And then 15 years later, he gave an interview. He's like, actually, I saw it, and it was not from here because I was an Air Force pilot. After 15 years, the governor, I forgot his name was.
Because he was told.
Came out and said, I was actually out there. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was told, like, listen, go make a mockery of this. Yeah. Like, and discredit the whole thing and blah, 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 blah. You know, no one will believe it after we make a joke, you know. No, that's crazy. Like government. So like, that's the thing, right? So if I was an alien, I wouldn't even want to, like, if I was an alien and I came down to Earth, I wouldn't give a shit who was in charge of this country, that country, blah, blah, blah. Like, it wouldn't matter to me who was in charge. I would want to go to this place. Like, you know how when you go sightseeing, right? You want to see zebras, you want to see zebras, you want to see giraffes, you want to see gorillas, you want to see it all, right? Yeah. I wouldn't care who's in charge of all you talking apes. I just want to come see you. Yeah. And so that's why I don't get why the government has they feel the need to keep secrets like that. But then again, like, I don't know, it could go the complete opposite way, right? Yeah. And if I was an alien, I would want to talk to someone who's in charge because I don't want to be seen. So,
what do you think of the idea? I don't know if we're going a little too long here, but I can go for hours. The Charity of the Gods idea that they might have been here thousands of years ago.
Well, I mean, it makes sense that the pyramids didn't get built by a bunch of slavers with 2-ton bricks on their back. Like some things just don't add up. They don't. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't for the technology that was available. Yeah. It seems impossible or implausible, but also impossible. Like the pyramids,
and all these like other like landmarks that are all like lined up like at a time when they should not have known the earth was round, pointing to specific stars and certain chambers. You're like, it's possible they were very that smart that knowledge was lost. But you have all these hieroglyphs of creatures, you know. I'm talking about like that movie Star firm believer, but whereas before I would laugh at that, now I'm like, if they're here now, there's no reason they weren't here a couple thousand years ago and have been, keeping an eye on us.
Yeah. And I like that idea about that they're here monitoring us to make sure that we don't destroy the universe with stupidity or destroy ourselves with stupidity.
Yeah.
I think that would be the most comforting thing to know that like mom and dad are here, mom and dad alien species is here to make sure that we don't walk into the middle of the road and get hit by a bus. So
or like like the analogy I always give is like with your dog. You put your dog on a leash, the dog wants to run free. He or she does not understand why it's on a leash. But I know that if I let my dog loose, run around, she might run it. And this is almost happened to my dog many years ago. She broke the leash and she ran off and almost got hit by a car. The dog cannot cognitively understand why this person who I love keeps me on a leash when we go out. Why he won't let me be free? Because in the same way, they're the aliens. They're kind of keeping an eye on us because they know if they let us off the leash, we might run into a bus.
Right. So if there's any aliens watching tonight's broadcast,
please subscribe.
Definitely ring that notification bell, subscribe, and make sure I don't get hit by a bus. Because that would be very preferable. I like to. And solve the cancer thing, please. Please.
I think it would be changing. I think that'd be one of the bigger things that would come out.
Maybe in the next 20 years we're living in you ever seen God, I can't remember the show name. It's on Netflix with Joel Kinnaman. Where he switches bodies.
Is it about aliens?
No, it's not technically about aliens, but like,
okay.
Like they switch bodies and come on. I know.
I'll look it up right now. I'm the producer. This is what I do. I have a second browser open here. I've heard of what you're saying because I remember I wanted to watch it and I heard of it. Oh my God, it's telling me everything but what I want. Not The Killing.
No.
Altered Carbon. That's what
it's a sci-fi show on Netflix.
Yeah, Altered Carbon.
Carbon, yes. So in the next 10 years we'll be living in an altered carbon style world where our bodies are merely vessels, and you can upgrade it with money. Like if you have enough money, you can upgrade your body, and your consciousness gets transferred into it. We're multi-planet species, the whole nine. Altered Carbon, by the way, one of the best shows on Netflix.
Because I was going to watch that you're chewing, you forget about it.
It's crazy good. I highly, highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. All right, guys. That's all the time that I at least have for tonight. I had a really good time talking aliens, and this will not be the last time that we do it. So I'm going to bring it up. I want to bring up the couple of different things before we head out. So again, I'll give you a quick rundown of what the next week or two is going to look like. So join us tomorrow, or join some of us tomorrow on Raging Entertainment as we talk to Steve Head. He had a hand in creating the Ninja TMNT 2 movie, and we'll be talking with Raging Entertainment and him. So that should be really fun, and you should definitely check that out. Then this Friday, your boys are going to be headed over to the the vodka stream, because I clearly know what I'm doing right now. We'll be joining Dave the Film Junkie on the vodka stream, and we'll be having lots of fun over there, talking whatever he has lined up. And then on Monday, Kim Rhodes will be joining me on T-Wise TV Corner. That's going to be awesome. She's one of my favorite people on Supernatural. So, and she was the mother in Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. Fun fact.
Oh.
So, Next Friday, Lightcast podcast host Matt will be joining us. I think we're going to create a show, do a special show next Friday with them. So that'll be really fun. Taylor from The Culture Nerd, he writes Culture Corner, so that could be awesome.
Go over last Friday again because it was freezing. What? I thought it was me, but I was watching on YouTube on another browser. Kind of froze when you said next Friday we're going to have Lightcast on. Sorry.
Oh, no. Thank you. So next Friday, the guys from Lightcast Podcast are going to join us. So Matt, one of the hosts of Lightcast, is going to be coming on, and he's also going to be bringing the cultured nerd writer Taylor, who has the best kind of inside scoops, the best stories, and the most up-to-date news. So, we're really excited about that. That's going to be a great and wonderful show, and make sure you tune in for that. So hopefully we can get a couple tidbits from them about the upcoming 2021 film slates. My name is TY. This has been the Pop Culture Corner presented. Well, no. This has been Quick Dip presented by Pop Culture Corner. As always, I thank you. We're raising money for my mother's breast cancer fund. The link is down below in the description. Jack, if you'd like to say a couple words.
Yeah. Honestly, I know it's a good thing to help people out. It's very easy to help people when things are going great. But I really think, if you have anything, please help out. It's for a good cause. It's for his mom, Michelle. And this is the era of giving. This is the time of giving, whether you celebrate Christmas or not. But it's definitely something worth doing, even a little bit. We did it with suicide awareness. One of the things, pop culture unites us. And as fans, no matter what corner of your world you're in, we know we have a fan or maybe fans in Pakistan, anywhere around the world. It's time for us to unite and use our pop culture nerdiness to raise awareness, whether it's suicide, but today, breast cancer. We need your help. Anything would be appreciated.
Of course. So you can follow us on YouTube. Well, you can subscribe on YouTube. Ring that bell for notifications. You can follow us on Facebook, Pop Culture Corner 2020. On Twitter, it's Pop_Culture 2020. And then Instagram, just search Pop Culture Corner. You can also follow us on our regular pages. Mine, I don't really use anymore. I kind of focus on the Pop Culture Corner ones. But for Jack's always on Facebook, and Justice is as well. So you can follow them. They're friends, and they consistently post on the page, the show's page. So you can find them there.
And give us feedback, please. If you see a topic you like, let us know, please.
Yeah, definitely. Feedback is always welcome at the corner. If you are someone you are struggling, with mental illness or think you're hurting yourself, and you need someone to talk to, we are always here. I love you. We love you, and we'll see you next time. I'm gonna live here until this goes.